What if I told you that one man's obsession with machines didn't just change how cars were made, it changed how the entire world works? A man who went from a farm boy in Michigan to a name etched in history as a symbol of industrial power. Henry Ford wasn't just a car maker. He was a man who took the automobile from a luxury for the wealthy and turned it into something every family in America could own. He didn't just create cars. He created the modern assembly line, the 9-to-5 workday, and even the concept of mass production that still drives factories today. But behind the legend is a complicated story of brilliance and stubbornness, of vision and controversy, of how one man could revolutionize work, yet also nearly destroy everything he built. This is the untold story of Henry Ford, the man who revolutionized work. Henry Ford was born in 1863 on a farm in Dearborn, Michigan. But unlike other boys of his time, he wasn't fascinated with plowing fields. He was fascinated with machines. At 12, he dismantled his first pocket watch and rebuilt it. By 16, he was repairing neighbors' farm equipment. By 20, he left home to work in Detroit as a machinist. He once said, "My life's ambition is to build a machine that will run without a horse." It was a radical dream, because in the late 1800s, the car was a luxury item, hand-built, expensive, and out of reach for everyday people. Ford wanted to change that. Ford's journey to success wasn't easy. In 1899, he founded the Detroit Automobile Company, and it failed within 2 years. Investors wanted quick profits. Ford wanted a perfect car. The company went bankrupt, but Ford didn't stop. He believed that failure was simply the opportunity to begin again, more intelligently. In 1901, he tried again with the Henry Ford Company, but disagreements with investors forced him out of his own business. Twice bankrupt, twice rejected. Most men would have quit, but Ford kept going, and then his breakthrough came. In 1903, with just $28,000 from 12 investors, Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company. This time, he had a clear vision: create a car that was simple, reliable, and affordable. He started with the Model A. It sold modestly well, but Ford wasn't satisfied. He knew the car that would change everything hadn't been built yet. And in 1908, that car arrived, the Model T. The Model T was priced at just $850 when it launched, far cheaper than most cars at the time. It was sturdy, reliable, and easy to maintain. Farmers loved it. Workers loved it. America loved it. Demand exploded. By 1914, half of all cars in the United States were Model Ts. By the 1920s, Ford had sold over 15 million of them. Henry Ford had achieved his dream. He put the world on wheels. But he wasn't done yet, because success brought a new problem: how to build cars faster. Ford studied slaughterhouses in Chicago, where animals were disassembled in stages. He thought, what if we could build cars the same way? And in 1913, at his Highland Park factory, Ford introduced a moving assembly line. Instead of one man building an entire car, workers would specialize in one task: tightening a bolt, fitting a wheel, attaching a part, and the car would move down the line until finished. The results were staggering. Before the assembly line, it took 12 hours to build one car. After, 90 minutes. Productivity skyrocketed. Costs plummeted. The price of the Model T dropped to just $300. Now, even factory workers could afford the cars they built. It was a revolution, not just in industry, but in society itself. The world of work would never be the same. In 1914, Ford shocked the world again. He announced he would pay his workers $5 a day, double the average wage. But it wasn't just generosity. Ford believed that if workers were paid more, they would be motivated, loyal, and able to buy the very cars they built. This idea created the middle class as we know it. It gave workers more time, more money, and more dignity. And it cemented Ford's reputation as not just an industrialist, but a man who revolutionized how people worked and lived. But Henry Ford was not without flaws. He was stubborn, often refusing to listen to others. He held controversial and, at times, dangerous views, publishing anti-Semitic writings that tarnished his legacy. Inside his factories, discipline was strict. Ford even created a sociological department to inspect workers' homes and personal lives, ensuring they lived according to his moral code. His greatest strength, control, was also his greatest weakness. Ford loved the Model T, but he loved it so much that he refused to change it. By the 1920s, competitors like General Motors began offering cars in different colors, styles, and features. Ford still insisted, "You can have any color you want as long as it's black." Sales declined. The Model T, once unstoppable, was overtaken. Finally, in 1927, Ford admitted defeat and discontinued it. It was the end of an era, but Ford wasn't finished. He introduced a Model A, which revived sales. Later, the V8 engine, which gave Ford a technological edge. Though his influence at the company waned in later years, his mark on history was permanent. Henry Ford died in 1947 at the age of 83, but his impact lived on. He didn't just build cars. He built the system that built the modern world. Henry Ford's story is not just about cars. It's about vision, innovation, and the will to keep going despite failure. He taught us that mass production can change society. Paying workers fairly can build prosperity. Innovation requires both imagination and discipline, but his flaws remind us of another lesson. That greatness comes with contradictions. That no man, no matter how powerful, is without shadow. Still, one thing is undeniable. Henry Ford revolutionized work. The 9-to-5 job, the assembly line, the affordable car, all trace back to him. He didn't just change how cars were made. He changed how the world worked. And that's why his name still matters today. When Ford finally discontinued the Model T in 1927, the world was watching. For 19 years, the car had dominated roads across America. Now it was gone. The replacement, the Model A, it was more modern, stylish, and came in different colors. Something Ford had once refused to do. The launch was a sensation. Millions of orders poured in. People lined up outside dealerships. Once again, Henry Ford had proven he could adapt. But while the Model A brought Ford back into the spotlight, competition was growing fiercer. General Motors, with its Chevrolet division, was catching up fast. And the man who once led innovation was slowly becoming the one trying to keep up. In the early 1930s, Ford made another bold move, the creation of the flathead V8 engine. Until then, powerful V8s were only available in expensive luxury cars. Ford changed that by making the V8 affordable to the average American. It was a game changer. Police forces loved it. Gangsters loved it. Everyday drivers loved it. The V8 cemented Ford's reputation as a company that could still deliver innovation. But while the products remained strong, Ford himself was beginning to lose his grip. He grew older, more controlling, more resistant to change. The very qualities that once made him unstoppable now held him back. When World War II broke out, Ford Motor Company became a crucial part of the war effort. Factories shifted from making cars to building tanks, planes, and jeeps. The Willow Run plant became famous for producing a B-24 bomber every 63 minutes.